Guys, all of you know that Lake Mead is now at record lows. We're about 1040.40 right now, maybe a little lower. What we're seeing is a tremendous impact suddenly starting to hit the southwest grid. I have information from the Department of Energy. Now, we hit 1040, and of course, they're saying at 1035 is going to be a bad time because they will only have 4 of the 17 turbines left at Lake Mead at the Hoover Dam itself. But we've got about 4 feet or 5 feet to go, and about a month before that happens. But I mentioned before that as Lake Mead loses 1 foot of water between now and the 1035, that's 5 megawatts, of energy. So way before it gets to 1035, there's going to be problems with the grid. Remember, the Hydro Dam power at Lake Mead and the Hoover Dam, guys, is the cushion for these times of the day. When it's getting very hot, people are flipping on the air conditioner and coming back home, all of that. And they're called the peak hours. And they could always kick in Lake Mead to handle that. That's about to be gone, and 40 million people are about to be in a lot of trouble. Let's dive into this. And with this lowering, guys, they're starting to see that snapback problem increase daily. And I've talked about it probably too much. But again, it's when you overload the grid because you cut off the voltage going to the data centers. Anyway, they're saying this sudden reduction of Hoover Dam's flexible quick start power has forced grid managers to rely on automated emergency systems that are triggering unexpected chain reaction problems across Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico. In the earlier video, guys, it's also in the data center alley in Northern Virginia. And we're starting to see some other problems too, guys, that are not very good for the humans. But as Hoover Dam output fails, utilities are leaning aggressively on virtual power plant, or called VPPs, and automated thermostat demand response programs to artificially lower power usage during the 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. windows. This has triggered massive load snapbacks. Guys, also with these smart meters, they're going to start automatically cutting you back during peak hours. I looked at the details today. If you don't comply, in other words, if they tell you to turn everything off but just a couple of appliances, and you don't, they will kill your meter and wait till you comply, and they can read that you now have a lower voltage on that smart meter before they cut you back on. How dystopian is that? Think about what I'm telling you. This is where we're going. We have completely separated the human population from this planet, from the political group entirely. They're in a totally different direction than we are. Now, when that happens, you're going to have a secondary peak, which is one of the problems with the grid. When a 2-hour voluntary conservation or load shedding event ends, hundreds of thousands of smart thermostats, electric vehicle chargers, and water heaters automatically click back on simultaneously. Grid overload, grid heating, all the problems. Worse than the original peak, the second one is. This creates a sudden massive surge in electricity demand, again the snapback, because Hoover Dam is no longer there to instantly flex its turbines up and absorb the shock. Grid operators are caught flat-footed, scrambling to fire up expensive natural gas peaker plants to prevent local circuit overloads. In the video before this, we discussed the impossibility of keeping that diesel generator diesel supply up for very long at all. Almost impossible. Now, another thing that they're seeing is because of local power outages and the coal load pickups, when localized power outages do occur due to the heat-strained equipment, field crews are facing intense infrastructure stress trying to turn the power back on. The AC surge in extreme summer heat, when a neighborhood loses power, every single air conditioner, compressor, refrigerator, and fan remains toggled to the on position. Think about that. When the utility tries to re-energize the circuit, again, after everyone's obeyed the command to kill the power in your home so the data centers can remain intact, they're going to destroy it even further. When the utilities try to re-energize the circuit, that's after those peak hours, even if everyone does what they say, there's going to be a sudden surge. It will cause breakers to trip, but they're saying that the combined starting current of all those appliances hitting the grid at the exact same split second is up to 4 to 6 times higher than normal operating levels. Because think about it. You know that if you cut on an AC or a refrigerator or deep freeze, that there's a momentary surge, maybe 30 seconds of compressor surge, and then that will level out. Think about what they're doing. Are they trying to do more damage? This phenomenon, known as a cold load pickup, causes voltage to plummet instantly, frequently snapping the main station breakers back open and trapping neighborhoods in repeated cascading outage loops before crews can manually isolate lines. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. What I see is an intentional destruction of the supplies that humans need to supply AI. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not going to make it much longer. I just wanted to give you this update from the power people there. Lake Mead is in trouble. 40 million people will have to make a decision very quickly. But I'm telling you this, it's not isolated to the Southwest. Look at the video earlier. What's going to happen to the grid in Virginia? And look at what Governor Greg Abbott just did in Texas. Guys, he didn't mention it, but it was because of a snapback that damaged the grid. And he just mentioned that he was protecting the power for the people of Texas, which he was, but they're not getting into the details there at all. But I mentioned earlier, guys, we're going to start moving a lot of content to Patreon. I appreciate you coming there and taking a look at it. Unless it's an urgent video, like I think this one is for a vast amount of the population, and something like a hurricane or tornado urgent video, these will go up on Patreon maybe a day or two before they come here live. Anyway, think about it. We're preparing for the future, both in the conflict with AI and humans on the videos that you're seeing and the other problems. It's a heads up again. Be safe.